Hey guys, another morning. I did a bunch of work on that thing last night, the trike build, and I was too tired to do a video last night, so I'll give you a little heads up this morning as I'm walking out, and we'll go from there. A generator showed up. Whose is this? There's a tag on it. Don't they know I want to play? There's a pile of junk, so you can tell I've been having at her a little bit. That's my overflow. Keep it out of my feet. You just flip some lights on here and shut the alarm off.
System disarmed.
One more light. Alright. Okay, I don't know, where should I even start? Those are the sprockets. They're all finished up. I painted them silver, but I shouldn't have because it looks stupid. But anyway, they're on there, bolted back together, both sides. And that one. And I kind of started with trying to figure out how I wanted to lay the thing out. I wish I could back up further. I started with basically cutting these free from the bike frames, top and bottom, and I'm not going to use any part of that extra of the frame of the bike and the back side. I kind of want to keep it minimal. I didn't want to get it all bulky and coming up the sides. So I took a piece of bed frame rail and pretty much figured the distance between the two sprockets. Let me go from the rear. I figured the distance from the two sprockets was exactly 24 inches, just like I thought. And so I set it up so that the two sprockets on the bike wheels was exactly 24 inches apart too. And then just kind of kept running around with squares and levels and everything else to try to get them, you know, true and plumb and this way and this way and this way and, you know, any and every way you can to get them straight. And that's basically what I started with. So I got them. Oh, actually, I should back up a little. I got lucky. My lift. If you look at where my seams are on my lift, well, they're exactly 24 inches apart too. So I was able to come off of with a square and basically just run around the whole thing and just use my square off the table for all my locations to make sure I get everything lined up the way it should be. So that's what I did. I tacked that bed frame rail to those two front sections and built that, and then I just started making and adding frame from there. Next piece was this piece. This is the handlebars off the crappier bike, so I cut them down to size and kept the wheels from trying to want to come in, you know. And then as you see on the top side, those 4 bars were added to the top, just to kind of one at a time, just kind of, you know, fit them, and took the little grinder and hollowed out the centers of them to cope the insides, as you can kind of see on there right there. They're all kind of coped to match the roll of the pipe. So essentially I just kept throwing tools at it until it turned into kind of something. But it looks pretty good. The drivetrain looks like it'll hold up quite well. The chains are nice and straight. You can kind of see them. They're just laying on top right now, but you know, they're pretty good. Plus you have some play with the wheels themselves. You can kind of rack it one way or another if you have to point the sprocket a little bit, but I think we're pretty good. The only thing I do have, now that I tightened it up, is you can see on the far chain, this one's still loose, but on that far chain you can see it's actually touching that frame. So I have to take it, just cut it free right from here. Cut it free right from here and come up about this distance. This is where that trailer hitch was. I started with just tacking it on that position and you know, whittled away. I left some room in case I want to change the size of this back sprocket. I still can. Plus I can get everything apart. Everything slides off that rear axle off the sides, and then the axle has to slide right out completely. So I didn't want to have this stuff in the way, or the tire in the way of where that was. I wouldn't be able to get it apart in the future. So that was that stuff. Let me back up over here and Go take a little look from over here and kind of show you that I just sat some stuff up there to do kind of a mock-up on it, how things are going to kind of lay out. You got to kind of picture it without that front tire on that four-wheeler on there, and roughly something like that. You know, of course it's going to get fudged and mudged and moved around to see how exactly lines up, but first things first is just to get that ass end all buttoned up. I'm going to add more to it yet. I still want to come up with some more support from the bottom, tying it together. And fire the motor up and just see how the wheels spin, make sure everything's okay. And then the next point is going to be to start hacking the front of that thing off of there and grafting on the front of the bike into there. I want to take that front seat and take off the sissy bar piece of chrome that's on it, and I want to add it to the back one. I want the back one to have a big ass sissy bar coming up off of it, you know. You have to. Hey, you're a kid, I don't know, well, the age group of who watches my stuff, some older, some younger, but if you grew up in the 70s, the Schwinn's back then, you had the biggest accessory you can put on it was the big ass sissy bar. So I kind of want to go with that same kind of look. I felt like, again, kind of showing my age, but the show, the Disney movie was, you guys ever watched that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? When the very beginning, when he's building the car, he goes out from the garage and he's tearing up, he walks out and he just starts dragging all the kinds of stuff into the garage, and all you hear is noise and everything, and you never hear him. They don't know where he is or where he's been, and finally he comes out with a car. But I feel like that, I just, you know, 10 o'clock at night, and just going out to my scrap pile, dragging stuff forward and hacking parts off it and making something. Just a memory for me, kind of a flashback that happened when I was doing that. So there's a bunch of other stuff that still kind of needs to be done, of course, but it just giving you the general layout of the way the thing was. I think that battery leaked a little. Look at all the acid that went on that case. I could probably even just put the handlebars back on the front of it and ride it the way it is, just to see how it rides, but I think I'm going to refrain from doing that. I'm going to order a new carburetor for it because I know the needle and seat in that one sticks at times, and it didn't like to idle that good. So it's like 39 bucks, everything pretty cheap. And I did do the carrier bearings inside here, so they're new. Alright guys, well, I'm going to go eat me some breakfast. Go take a quick peek at a generator and see what's going on with that, and come back and have at it again. Thanks for watching. Take care.